want you to be happy, even if it isn't with me. I want you to be happy, so I'll set you free. I want you to be happy. One day I hope you'll see, real love needs no lock and key. I want you to be happy. It isn't love if you are free. No matter where you run, no matter where you hide, no matter what you've done, my love for you will still abide. You remain my only one. I'll keep a place for you by my side. I don't want you to walk away, but I won't force you to stay. I'd rather you be happy, I'd rather you be free, even if it's without me. Needs no lock and key. I want you to be happy. It isn't love if you aren't free. I'd rather you be free, even if it's without me.
Woke up with my head under pressure so high, hiding all night, hiding behind my tired eyes. Coffee's cold, the silence loud. I want the pain like a winter shroud. Some days I feel like I can't fly. Other days I feel so fragile.
Ready to get started. We are
I
ready.
didn't
Alright, let me kill the music so you can hear me. Last time we worked a lot on our angel's wings and we got the feathering done and it was looking good. I mean, we've got some left to do, but as you can see, it's mostly done. So I'm going to finish up with those feathers, then we're going to start on the bull. Good to see you, Ubi. Good to see you, Brian. Good to see you, Timmy. Nice to be with everybody tonight. How's your evening going? Ready for some nice, soothing art? Nothing really major going on in life. Nothing terrible. Nothing great. But you know what? I'm alive. I'm relatively healthy. There's few things that you can ask for beyond that. And, ouch. That's right. I gotta go pop into the actual art before I can, oh no, don't do that. Before I can actually modify it, undo rasterize layer. Yeah. View. We're gonna zoom in a bunch. Playing with clippers. Well, that sounds entertaining. What are we clipping and why? I suppose that's probably not a question I really want answered. Bad days, but supporting the community. Well, I am praying for you. And I understand about bad days. Sometimes those bad days do seem to outnumber the good. But I will tell you this too. Every bad day that I've had in my life has led to something really awesome coming my way. It may not have seemed like it in the moment, and most of the time it didn't. But it did end up being the case that it led me to a really great place later down the line. And I'm hoping, sincerely, that that is what is exactly happening for you, Timmy. I mean, if nothing else, I will say this. As bad as what's going on sucks right now, you are getting to experience the love of the community. And to be perfectly honest, a lot of people will spend an entire lifetime never experiencing that. Never experiencing people coming together specifically to support and celebrate their life. That is a gift all by itself. Cleaning up the string change on the SBHE. Yeah, I hear you. Appointments in Columbus next week. Yeah. Here's to hoping that every appointment that you attend next week brings something really positive to the table. And you know, a lot of times though in life, sometimes it's not even what's happening to us. It's our perspective on it and what we think about it that makes all the difference in the world. There was a point in my life where I nearly committed suicide because I felt like I was drowning in an ocean of problems from which there was no escape. And I really didn't see any hope for my future. And I didn't see that there was ever going to be anything other than problems. And not only did I nearly take my own life over that, but I nearly took my son's with me. And then 20 years later, I woke up from a dream, you know, going, I have problems, because God showed me a whole different way of looking at my problems. Basically, that every problem I'd faced in my past and learned how to solve was an opportunity for the present moment to profit. And every problem I didn't know how to solve was an opportunity for the future profit. And I was never going to run out of problems, but that was actually really good news because it also meant I would never run out of opportunities to profit. And my problems didn't change at all. I still had them. I still had them in spades. But what changed was how I saw them. And that made all the difference in the world as to how I felt about them. I'm not saying that I'm perfect. I'm not saying that every day I wake up excited about problems in my life. And I'm not saying that my problems have ever gone away, because even my dream didn't promise me that. But it did change forever how I would look at them. And I now recognize and I'm able to recover emotionally faster because I see them as being not evidence that I'm unloved and unlovable, which is what I really did see when I was in my 20s. It's proof that God didn't care, that I was never going to get any help from anywhere. But now as signs that I have something to contribute to the world. And that gives me great hope even in the midst of some of the darker moments of my life. So I think a lot of times it isn't the problems that we face, it's how we see them that impacts so much how we feel about them. Yeah, that's awesome. You know, my grandmother was told that she had 6 months to live because she had encephalitis, and they told her if she didn't have the surgery for it right then, they gave her 6 months top to live. She lived 6 years past their diagnosis. So never let a doctor's word be the thing that you rely on for your lifespan. They can tell you what they've seen in a lot of cases. They can give predictions, but they are not gypsy fortune tellers, and they cannot tell the future from any more than anybody else can. And I've seen plenty of people allow their lives to be wrecked because they followed some doctor's diagnosis and some doctor's prognosis of their life. And it's all, as George Carlin would say, guesswork in a white coat. It is the best thing to be late about it. If you're going to have to be late for something, be late for your funeral. My grandmother was. We always joked that she was going to be late to her funeral, and I swear to you, it was literally true. The limousine driver got caught in traffic, which is hilarious, and I think it's my grandmother's last hurrah from beyond the grave. She's like, "Oh, you guys thought you were funny? Let me show you funny." Well, we're fighting for you too. Definitely got the prayers going up. Definitely got the prayers going up. Every member of this community gets prayers. At the very least, I know I pray for them. And I'm pretty sure that Ted does. I have no idea if there's anybody else in our community, little community, that does, but at the very least, I know for a fact that I do. And I don't say that to brag, but to reassure you that somebody out there does care. And on your worst days, you are not fighting the battle alone. Whatever battle you're going through, I'm in there with you. May not be able to do much more for you than pray, but I can at least give you that much of a lift. Yep. Terminal stomach cancer. That's gotta be painful. Yikes. Well, that's one way to lose the weight, I guess. Just don't eat. Heck of a weight loss program. Well, I hope not. We're definitely not looking to get rid of you anytime soon. big believer that there is no disease that cannot be kicked. And if it can't be kicked the way we'd all like it to, there are other means. Beer and scotch for vitamins. Well, that is a quite the health regimen. I mean, you know, covers your grains, at the very least. Yes, yes, essential nutrients. And hey, you know, at the very least, I will say this: the beer and the scotch will kill any parasites that you got wandering around in there. Fortune, you old automaton. I don't know. I don't know. I'm not aware of scotch expiring, but, you know, then again, I'm not exactly the expert on scotch, so. Yes, Brian's definitely a character. Got character, but definitely a character. Give her a refund for not taking it off the shelf with fresh stock. Uh, $75 a bottle. Woo! Lordy. That's that better be some really good stuff. That's all I gotta say. They make it with gold in there? What's the deal? Better change my life with every drink. All I'm saying, for $75, man. I'm the kind of girl who is content with a $10 bottle of vodka. So, I'm not exactly an alcohol aficionado. And that $10 bottle of vodka can last me months. Well, that's true. That's quite true. It is better than the opioids. And probably cheaper at that. Just sad. Sad to say. But yes, I can see how that would be a preferred alternative to what they're trying to prescribe you. Three ice cubes in your TED Talks mug, huh? I need to get me one of those, speaking of which. I actually need to get myself a whole bunch of stuff, but right now, let's just put it this way. The money just isn't flowing like it once did. My business is just not done as well this year as it has done in previous years. Moving to a new area has really kind of put a bit of a hamper on as well. There's been a lot of factors that have gone in. It's definitely been a tough year financially. But you know what? Like, everybody goes through winter periods when things look like they're dead and dying and nothing's happening, no growth is happening, or at least on the surface, no growth is happening. And what I've found is that winter seasons are when you grow your roots stronger, so that when it's time for that season of growth, you've got enough stability built up that you can handle it. Doctors won't release you to walk iron anymore. That stinks. It is hard when something takes you down and you can't do the things you used to do. Or even if you can do them, you can't do them nearly as well. almost through with our feathers. Hoorah! Not that I don't like the feathers, but you know, it's a lot of repetition. There we go. That's the last of them. Now let's see what she looks like. Yeah, there we go. Now, save her. Close out of her. And it's time to start working on our bowl. The bowl that's full of bowl. Yeah, that would be tough. I mean, when you spent almost a lifetime doing something, perfecting your ability to do it, it's tough to leave that behind. You can only imagine. It's true, it does give you the ability to relearn the guitar. You certainly have more time than you ever did before. There's always a plus side to everything in life. One of the things that math teaches us, for every negative in life, there is somewhere to be found an equal positive. You just gotta look for it. And you may be too far in the pit to see it right then, but it exists somewhere. Hey, Will! Apparently, Will found the pounds you lost, Timmy. Bottle of the Tomatin bottle, huh? That stinks. It's early in the evening to be out yet. Yikes, Will. That's quite a drop in a very short time. Just doing the underpainting for the bowl right now. We'll create a new layer on top. We'll hide this layer, but create a new layer on the top, and we'll do some of the brighter bits of it. Thank you, Will. Appreciate that. It is coming along quite nicely. I had the vision for it a few months ago, and then I was just not sure if I wanted to dive in, and that's when I decided, you know what? I didn't know if my skills were up for it or not. I said, you know what? I'll do it on live stream, and if I suck, well, welcome to embracing this suck, right? That'd be me living the motto live on stream. So, and to my surprise, it's turned out a lot better than I ever dared hope it would. It's certainly been coming together. And I've been enjoying getting to know everybody in the community that stops by and, you know, takes time to chat with me and stuff. And it's kind of my time, I guess, to connect with everybody. I am not the world's greatest at staying in touch with people. It's one of my weaker points. Randy is the one who's better at staying in touch with people. He always has been. I tend to disconnect easily, and I think that's because we just, when I was a kid, moved so often that it never felt safe to really stay connected. I guess I didn't learn the art of it, and I'm having to, as an adult, kind of fill in the gaps of what I didn't learn as a kid. And I'm working on getting better about that, but that's not my particular strength. It's something I've had to kind of learn from Randy. Ubi, for those who don't know his real name. I just realized that I'm talking about him as if you guys know for a fact that's who I'm talking about. But yeah. Randy, his family has always stayed connected with people. And he kind of picked up that art. Plus, he's just really good at being present with people, no matter where they're at. Well, I've done art off and on, Will. I actually studied art at the Art Institute online. I wanted originally to go into game art. That was my passion, because I wanted to become a game artist. And the company that I worked for at the time would do tuition reimbursement, but only for skills that they could see themselves actually needing. So I started out taking courses in graphic design because the company would reimburse me for it, and got quite a few credits into it, and then ended up switching to an elementary education major. And I actually got my associates in elementary education, and that and $1.60 will buy you something that passes for a cheap cup of coffee these days at McDonald's. It's really not worth much as far as getting employment goes, but it has been beneficial in a lot of other ways. So I can't say it was a total wash. Then I went and I started taking the game art classes, but my son was young at the time, and his behavior would go off the charts whenever he wasn't getting enough mom time and attention. And I was trying to juggle a full-time job, full-time school, and full-time parenting, and doing a crap job of all three. And so I decided, you know what, my son needs me more than my schooling needs me. And so I dropped that, ditched the job that was 60 to 80 hours a week, and focused on my son and what he needed. I never had any regrets. And that's the story of, yeah, and so I've kept my my art skills up. Beautiful. Nice, Will. You know, I will say though, there's no reason that you can't play guitar and draw. The two are not necessarily mutually exclusive. Now we're just putting the undercoat on the bull, giving it the shadowing that it'll need later. And I'll drop in some highlight layers. So this part that I'm doing right here is pretty messy. It's not really something that I'm paying a great deal of attention to detail on. It's an important part of the art, but it won't be prominent, so it's not really important to be precise with it. If you give me a Red Bull, I'm going to have to pass it along to somebody. I gave up energy drinks and soda July 1st. I got tired of being old, about 120 pounds heavier than I really need to be. And I was recognizing symptoms that I might be creeping into diabetes and decided, you know what? Let's just cut that off at the pass. There's no reason to put myself in a situation where I end up dying young because I'm stupid. And so I gave it up and haven't looked back. I did the give it up for a year once before when I was younger, so I knew I could, and I knew the secret to it is just providing yourself acceptable substitutes, things that are okay to have that still have flavor without adding all the extra calories that you get from energy drinks and sodas. And I was also having, a lot of symptoms that there was my metabolism was completely jacked up because of it. So I'm seeing signs that my metabolism is returning to a healthier state, and I'm happy about that. It's not perfect. There's still a lot of things wrong with me. Give me a list. But it's getting better. And I'm almost down 20 pounds, so I'm not going to complain about that either. mighty bull. Let's lift you up here. That's actually freaking looking. If I left it like that, it'd be kind of cool looking, but I'm not going to. Although it does give me an idea. I kind of want this. The bull is not exactly a friendly, healthy guy, so I do kind of want to give it a more demonic feel. So one thing I might do. Oop, am I adding it to the wrong layer? Is give it a red tone outline. Not to play on the red bull gives you wings things, but you know. Okay, yeah, I was working on the right layer. Good. Yeah, I think I am going to come in and give it that more red. Yeah, fiery kind of red tone, tint to it, if you will. It wasn't my original plan, but I like it. Hey, Jeremy. Well, I'm sorry to hear your show was canceled, but I'm glad to see you. Hope you're feeling good tonight, or at least better than you were. Oh no. Well, hopefully that'll be cleared up by the time it's your turn to stream. Oops. You have no sound? Well, that's not good. We're just having all kinds of tech trouble, huh? You also have no sound? Huh. Are you guys just not hearing me? Hmm. Hey. Oh, good. Glad to see the audio's back. And good to see you, Jeremy. In case you didn't hear me earlier. Look, man, there is no need to fake the funk in this corner of the internet, at least with me and Ubi. If we haven't been through what you're going through now, we have likely been through either something similar or maybe even something worse. Dude, I don't know. We have been homeless like at least 8 times in my life, in my adult life. It has sucked every single time. But I will tell you this, one thing I have learned is that you think it's gonna be so awful, and it is awful for a little while, but what you get on the other side is so much better than what you had that you honestly don't really miss what you had. At least that's been my experience. But then maybe because what I had was never that great to begin with, so. Thank you. Thank you, Will. I appreciate that. Little runt ate about 4 pumpkin cookie things off the counter. Oh no, I hope he's okay. I don't think it'll hurt an animal. At least I've never heard of pumpkin allergies among animals. Maybe there are, but there's a lot of things in life that I'm ignorant about, so I won't speak from my ignorance. I'd be speaking all day. I just want to tell everybody who is here right now how much I appreciate you being here. Honestly, I would probably do this anyway because it gives me an excuse to spend about an hour to an hour and a half drawing without having to feel guilty about it. But it is so encouraging when people show up. And just encourages me to keep going, and I'm the kind of person who needs a lot of encouragement. It may not seem like it, but I really do tend to get discouraged fairly easily. Something I'm also working on improving because I recognize that that's not really a recipe for long-term success if you keep giving up when things get tough. But to make the phone call tomorrow to see if you can keep the house. That's a tough place to be in, Jeremy. And I wish there were words that I could give you that would make everything better. But I can't. What I can do is tell you that what you're going through is not without purpose or meaning. And that God can use every mess you make. You know, he told me the other day, he said, look, I can bless any mess you make. I can make something out of it. I can put it to use for me. If you are just willing and courageous enough to be honest about your mess, I can use it. I can help you with it. I can use it for your good and for the good of others. But you got to be honest with me about it. And of course, that was kind of, some people would say that's a given, but for me, it was hard to hear. There are some parts of my past, of course, that I'm not especially proud of. And that there are times I'd really rather that not be the way things went. But I pretty much doubt there's a human being over the age of, say, 30 that doesn't have at least some part of their life that they wish there were a repeat, rewind, and undo button for. There is never a time when prayer is wasted, Jeremy. It tunes the mind to what you need to see. It helps you. It's kind of like adjusting the dial on a radio. It helps you to see possibilities that you might have overlooked otherwise because you weren't focused that direction. Also helps calm the brain. And when you're in fight, flight, or panic mode, that's definitely something you need. Prayer may not get you what you want, but it changes who you are to the place, to become the person you've got to be to get to the ultimate destination you want to reach. But I do understand how you feel. Man, it was so hard. Really? That's awesome, Timmy. I'm sure that came in handy. Yeah, this round's on Timmy. You know, that red really does. I like it. That really does pop quite nicely. It's hard to believe it's almost 7:30. 15 pack of beer. Yeah, probably Pabst Blue Ribbon, right? The cheap stuff, my man. But quantity over quality sometimes. You got a paper check from a Huntington Bank? Yeah. Actually, I've gotten checks from Huntington Bank when I was doing business with a friend of mine. That's her business bank. So, I am not personally a huge fan of paper checks, but sometimes you gotta deal with what you gotta deal with. Gotta go find a phone. Yeah, your phone is starving. I get that. Mine started burning through power really fast lately. I gotta check into that and see what I can do to reduce the sheer number of apps that I have on my phone. I hate that everybody wants you to install a stupid app. I need to like create some kind of app conglomerate. One app to rule them all. There you go. The One Ring app, right? One app to rule them all. No need to install 15 million apps anymore. Just install the One Ring app. One Ring. One app to control them all. Keystone. I'll have to look into that. Oh, is that the beer? For a minute there, I thought you were talking about an app, Timmy, but then I think back to it, and you're probably talking about the beer. Gotta name that bull Tomatin. 30 rack of Natty Light. Wow. Natty Light, when you don't care about the taste, just the alcohol. You know, the funny thing was, I didn't drink beer at all in high school. I didn't actually drink at all until I got to be about 19, I guess. Your middle name is Frodo? That's fun. Oh, where's my pick app? Yeah, I'm pretty sure every guitarist out there would like one of those. You know, that's an idea. Create a chip, create a pick with a GPS tracker in it. Please help me find my pick. It's somewhere around here. I had it 5 seconds ago. It wandered off. I don't know where. Meister Brock. I will have to take your word for it, friends. I will have to take your word for that. Um, kind of, yes. I do have thoughts on it. Not sure about my ability to execute, but I do have thoughts on it. But first I want to get the 3 characters in, and then I'll sketch in the background. It's kind of going to be a temple setting in the background, so we'll see how well I can do that. Because it's the album title is Rise of the TechnoSavior, so you're going to have allusions to, you know, false savior. You gotta have a temple. Uh-huh, yeah. Alright, now we get to do the shading on this layer. Bring that in. It is a question, isn't it? Why are people changing their name as every chat? I don't know. I don't change mine, really, but... It's a good question. I thought about this being a flaming bull, but we could definitely make that. Might not be a bad thing. The bull is unflambé. It's amazing what I can remember from 3 years of French in high school. Little ditties like this one. Auprès de ma blonde qui fait bon, fait bon, fait bon. Auprès de ma blonde qui fait bon rêver. And YouTube is a weird place sometimes. It's definitely its own flavor, for sure.